Hello, everyone. I'm Steve.
And I'm Scott.
Thank you for joining us. This is Together We're Backyard Musings. We are the science and technology channel. Stuff that the mainstream media is not covering, but they're innovative breakthroughs that are very interesting and could improve our lives, at least help us change a lot of the health things. We talked yesterday about autism. And we've talked about Alzheimer's. So hopefully this helps you and this enlightens you. The Axial Seamount, an underwater volcano located about 300 miles off the coast of Oregon, is displaying behavior that indicates an eruption is imminent in 2025. William Chadwick, an associate professor of geology at the University of Oregon, told ABC News. Scientists are predicting that this mile-long volcano off the U.S. West Coast will erupt this year. The Seamount is the most active submarine volcano in the Northeast Pacific, and researchers have been monitoring it for the last 30 years, during which it has erupted 3 times, Chadwick said. Would you like to know more?
I will testify that I've never heard of one of these things before, so this is pretty cool. Axial Seamount is set on a long, low-lying plateau with 2 large rift zones trending 50 kilometers or 31 miles to the northeast and southwest of its center. The volcano features an unusual rectangular caldera, and its flanks are pockmarked by fissures, vents, sheet flows, and pit craters up to 100 meters or 328 feet deep. Its geology is further complicated by its intersection with several smaller seamounts surrounding it.
So, quote, it seems to have this pretty repeatable pattern from one eruption to the next, Chadwick said. Axial Seamount received significant scientific attention following the seismic detection of a submarine eruption at the volcano in January 1998, the first time a submarine eruption had been detected and following in situ. Subsequent cruises and analysis showed that the volcano had generated lava flows up to 43 feet thick. That's thick.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of volume coming out. And the total eruptive volume was found to be 0.0043 to 0.0182 cubic miles. Again, that's pretty thick. I've seen lava flows in Hawaii, and they're only like 6, 8, 9 inches thick. So 43 feet, that's a lot. Axial Seamount erupted again in April 2011, producing a mile-wide lava flow. There was another eruption in 2015.
The volcano has been inflating like a balloon as molten rock accumulates within. The researchers have observed, since each of the eruptions have occurred as the volcano reaches a certain level of inflation, volcanologists believe it will erupt within the year. The seamount is beginning to reach the inflation stages that preceded the last eruption in 2015, Chadwick said.
So scientists are able to monitor the volcano through monitoring instruments and cables that extend from the coast, including seismometers that provide information on the earthquakes occurring near the volcano, Chadwick said. Quote, and so we actually have real-time data from Axial Seamount, which is pretty unusual, he said. The Axial Seamount tends to expel controlled eruptions about a mile beneath the sea surface, deep enough and far enough away from the coast that it won't threaten human lives, Scott Nooner, a professor of geophysics at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, told ABC News.
This is a quote. If you were on a boat above the volcano, you wouldn't know it at all that it had erupted. That's according to Nooner. While the eruption poses no danger to humans, an prediction could put researchers closer to accurately being able to forecast volcanic eruptions, according to the researchers. Volcano eruptions are generally hard to predict outside of a short-term time frame, Nooner said, but using the Axial Seamount and the Underwater Natural Laboratory to learn how to forecast volcanic eruptions is much safer than doing it on land, where false alarms could send people into a panic, Chadwick said. Again, quote, you don't want to use false alarms to cause evacuations and so forth, he said. We can kind of experiment with issuing a forecast, seeing if it works out or not.
Continuing to monitor the axial seamount will give researchers invaluable data to be able to more accurately predict volcanic eruptions. And further out, the researchers said, volcanologists would like to be able to issue forecasts further out to give more warning, and that's generally harder to do, Chadwick said. So this immediately reminds me of that volcano in Tonga when it erupted and it sent ash into the air. That must have been closer to the surface. But this one is a mile down, so it's not going to affect the eruption is not going to affect anybody on the surface.
I wonder if they could go down into a submarine. Of course, you'd have to be down there a long time because this thing only erupts whenever it wants to, I guess. But if you could observe this underwater, like with underwater
Maybe they could have drones. Maybe they could position drones throughout to be recording.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
That would be cool to see that. And with Tonga, there were seismic indications 15 minutes prior to that eruption. So I think these scientists are also trying to see if there's going to be any seismic activity before its eruption.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's cool stuff.
Yeah. All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. We talked about volcanoes today. Hope you have a good one.
Take care, everyone. Thank you.